All right. Hi, everybody. I am Carol Roth. A lot of you have been asking me about how to buy gold because you are gold virgins. You have never bought gold or precious metals before, or maybe you're a born again virgin. You did it a long time ago. You kind of forgot the process. So we just got out of a fantastic Twitter Spaces about this, and some of you decided that you wanted to have some video. So we are here delivering video. If you don't know me, I am a recovering investment banker, an economic pro, an author. I sit on boards, I invest in companies and the like. But one of the things I'm really passionate about is preserving the American dream. And obviously, with the events over the last several days, concerns about the US banking system, and frankly, going back to COVID policy and even further back from that, the Great Recession financial crisis, there are more and more reasons to be concerned about the stewardship of the US dollar, its place as the global reserve currency, and really using physical metals as a hedge. So before we jump into it and I introduce my fantastic guest, just a couple of things. One, this is not financial advice. It's not tax advice. You should talk to your your financial advisor, and everything you should do should be based on your own risk and objectives. Second is that I have an affiliation with Goldline. I think it's really important when you deal with physical metals in particular that you have a reputable dealer. So to answer questions, I have asked a partner that, again, full disclosure, I work very closely with. Also, the only place I get my precious metals from, but that's Goldline. And I have Sherrill, who is a fantastic account executive with Goldline, joining me. Sherrill, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure, Carol.
All right. So we have so many people who have questions about doing this for the very first time. It's nerve-wracking. I kind of felt like, when I go into a really fancy store and I'm like, do I belong here? I don't know what to do. So as an account executive, what's one of the first things that you ask your clients?
Well, typically, I want to find out their reasons for looking into precious metals, what's most important to them, because everything stems from that. And then we move from there. So why they want to own precious metals, what they hope to accomplish by owning precious metals, those are what we ask.
And from your perspective, obviously you've been doing this for a long time. You're talking to people. What are the different reasons your clients in particular are purchasing physical precious metals?
Well, there's four basic reasons that clients purchase precious metals, and I've been doing this for 12 years. So normally people will have one of these four or all four. So first is a hedge against inflation. Gold, all the way back to the days of Christ, it's kept up with inflation. The other thing is insurance. It's insurance and protection against downsides in the paper sides of the market, real estate sides of the market. The third one is there are a lot of people right now that are concerned with what's happening to the US dollar. Will it stay the world reserve currency? Will it be switched to a digital currency that can be locked up or go down if the grids go down? So people are concerned about having something as currency they can use. And of course, gold and silver are the original currency. It's what countries have always reverted back to when fiat currency has collapsed. And then the fourth one is retirement accounts. A lot of people are concerned about having their retirement they've built up all in paper, nothing but paper. So we're able to help them roll over some of that into actual physical gold and silver in their retirement account. So those are the four main reasons people look into gold and silver.
That's incredibly helpful. And for those of you who know me, my own perspective is really more on that latter hedge. The putting gold and precious metals into a portfolio is something I hope I never have to use, and I hope I never have to look at for decades to come in the future. But should something happen with the dollar's purchasing power, us losing reserve currency status, or zombie apocalypse, which I joke is really the Fed and the government, but they're the zombies. But something like that where things really go badly, I want to make sure that I have that capital preservation aspect to my portfolio. And I do want that form factor that I can control. You talked about things like digital currencies. The Fed right now is exploring CBDC, central bank digital currencies, which could give them lots of control. You want to make sure that you've worked hard, you've earned money, that you have some portion of it in a form factor that you do control. So Sherrill, one of the questions I get all the time is, I've never done this before. I don't even know how much to invest. So what do you advise somebody who comes to you and says, Sherrill, I don't know what to do. How much should I invest?
Yeah, so what we here at Goldline tell our clients is you want to look at having somewhere between 5 to 20% of your portfolio in precious metals. Some advisors recommend less and some advisors recommend more. And there are times in the process and in the cycles when 5% or a lower amount to start with is great. As we get to more of a critical mass situation like we're seeing now, you may want to get up to the maximum amount, which is right for your portfolio and for you when you've spoken to your advisor. But yeah, that's what we recommend.
Yeah, and I will echo that, in my own experience, from the advisors that I talk to, usually the 5 to 10% range, as you said, in normal market cycles is kind of the range, because again, this is meant as insurance, as a hedge. You want to have the capital appreciation piece, but you want to have that protection. So you wouldn't buy it for your entire portfolio. So you want to have that piece. But like you said, you have to keep an eye on the macro environment. So if CBDCs do progress, or we see shifts in the financial world order, and US dollar going by the wayside, and more of these different blocks and alliances starting to use other currencies. By the way, central banks last year bought a record amount of gold. It's something to keep in mind as a data point for you as well. The next question is, once I know what percentage, I have to kind of figure out how much to get started with. So is there a certain minimum amount to get started in terms of purchasing precious metals?
Yes. So here at Goldline, the minimum for a new client for purchase for delivery is $2,500. Once they're established as a client, they can order in increments of $1,000 at a time. For clients who don't have that kind of money to get started with, but they do want to start investing in precious metals, we have an accumulation program. They can go to goldline.com and click on that. It will walk them through that, and they can get started for a minimum of $200 a month.
Yeah, I've been joking around all night as we've been talking about calling it the layaway for gold and precious metals. So, if you don't have all of your cash right now and you want to start putting it out there, but if you do, it's good to start with that chunk. And one of the things that came up a lot on our spaces today was, could I do this in my IRA? And that's also something that Goldline can help you with. So if that's something you want, you should definitely give them a call on that. So once I talk to you, I've kind of figured out, okay, I have a certain amount I'm feeling comfortable with, but I don't really know, should I buy gold? Should I buy silver? Like, how do I figure out which metals and which products are right for me?
Well, again, we go back to why someone wants to own gold, all the reasons they want to own precious metals, not just gold. And that helps determine whether they should do all gold, whether they should do all silver, whether they should do a mixture of both. And that's determined by what they hope to accomplish by owning gold. You can't go wrong with gold or silver when it kicks in as that insurance. Both of them have performed the same. So in the year 2000, when the dot-com crash occurred, gold and silver went up 700% in a year. In the recession of 2008, gold and silver went up a total of 400%. And you'll notice I said gold and silver. So both of them kick in. Right now, silver is trading below its normal trading ratio to gold, and that's why you'll hear a lot of talk about silver. Silver is a very popular investment right now as well, but As you know, we talked about the storage part of the difference between gold and silver. So
Yeah, I mean, so that's like, people are thinking about bartering it and using it, if things go wrong. I know that $1 million worth of gold fits in a shoebox, and for silver, $1 million worth of gold fits in a
small walk-in closet, a whole walk-in closet. So yeah.
And I've already made the joke that my walk-in closet is full of shoes, so there's no room for silver. So we have to kind of reallocate there.
Yeah.
So, in terms of those, kind of different breakdowns of the products, how do I know, should I get, gold bars? Should I get gold coins? How do you sort of work with somebody who's not even sure what form factor to take down?
Yeah, and again, that goes back to those first questions of what's the most important to them. If somebody says, all I care about is I want a hedge against inflation, that's my only concern. Their best thing is to buy bars. That's going to be the least expensive, whether it's bars in gold or bars in silver. If they're interested again in that same thing, they're concerned about inflation and they want a hedge. But they're also concerned about digital currency being locked up, unavailable, and having to use their metals as currency. Those people are going to want to choose the smaller sizes in the gold, in the coins, in the silver, in the sizes that they can use as actual currency without leaving a lot of money on the table, because people will not be giving each other change.
Right. It's what you have. I need to use the doctor or get food or whatever. This is what exactly. I have. I'm not giving you anything back.
Yes. I like to tell my clients that saying, a horse, my kingdom for a horse. You don't want to have all of your money in a large bar if you're concerned you're going to have to use it, because you will give that away in an emergency, but you're not going to get change. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So what's your take on storage? I know there are different options for storage. I can give my perspective, but would love to hear the different options for people for storage of their physical metals.
So there's the gambit of where you can store your metals. You can store it in your gun safe. You can store it in safes that you have in your home. Some people have really large gun safes. They store it there. You can store it in your safe deposit box in the bank. But after what's been happening the past few days, I think a lot of people are going to be concerned about having anything locked in the bank right now. I have clients who bury it in the backyard in waterproof containers in their raised planter beds. You name it, you can store it wherever. You like you said, $1 million worth of gold in a small shoebox is going to be pretty easy to hide in your home. You can store it with Goldline if you choose to. As you said in the last meeting, most people do want to have it in their hands, but there are some people who travel a lot, or they just don't have a place they feel it's safe to put it, and they do store it. So that's an option for those who want to do that.
Yeah, as I said, for my purposes, I think you want to have at least some portion of that in a form factor you control, and I literally mean control. So I'm not telling you where I keep mine, but you can get very creative, and I am on the team of burying it in the back yard, putting it in the walls, wherever it is that you can defend that and keep it safe. Because if something goes down, you're not getting to the safety deposit box. You're not going to be able to have that transaction. I want you to be able to know where it is and be able to grab it, at least for some portion of that. I think it's so important. Control is going to be a key theme going forward. So that's one thing that I'm personally very focused on.
And Carol, most of our clients feel the same way you do. Absolutely. They want it in their hands. They want it where they can see it.
Yeah. And we won't give you more ideas so that we don't go into anybody's houses and rip apart their mattresses or things like that.
Somebody said that in the last mattress.
So if I'm ready to do this, if this is okay, I know I've been putting this off, I've been procrastinating, but now stuff's just got real. I know I need to do this. What's the first step that I take, Sherrill?
It's very simple. You call Goldline and you insist you speak to me. No, I'm just kidding. You call Goldline, and any one of our account executives here can help you. They'll set up an account for you with just your name, your address, your phone number. They'll go over the reasons you want to buy, and then again, all of the different things to choose from that fit in that. And then when you make your purchase, they'll confirm it, lock in your prices, secure the inventory, and you can pay with a personal or cashier's check, a bank wire, a debit card, or up to 2 credit cards. If our clients have credit cards where they get cash back, rewards, points, miles, we don't charge extra for that, and they're welcome to use up to 2 credit cards on a purchase. So I have clients that purchase and then use their miles to take trips.
I love that. I love the sort of the double dipping and sort of the extra financial savvy. I did want to double down though on a key piece. The information that you take, you're not taking social security information or other key privacy information, and you guys also don't keep that online. So do you want to mention something about that?
Yeah, all of our clients' records are kept offline when we're in the office here working with clients. I'm never hooked up to the internet. It's strictly inner office, and that protects our clients from hackers who would want to hack in and find out who has gold and what their address is or what have you. That's not available to be hacked.
No, that's huge, huge, huge. And I do want to give everybody the correct phone number, 800-319-9533 if you want to talk to Goldline. Again, very important to use a reputable company. I've done due diligence on Goldline. You should do your own due diligence, but there are a lot of unsavory characters in the precious metal space. So you want to make sure that when you're buying gold, you're actually buying gold and not a gold bar that has, some other thing in the middle of it. It's really important that you're working with a reputable company. So that's 800-319-9533. And speaking of phone numbers, I know a lot of my followers are very digitally native. Is there a reason why we need to get you on the phone? Can we not just kind of port ourselves over to the internet?
Again, we're back to the security and not having a record that can be hacked. So your records when you're a Goldline client are not hooked up to the internet. Internet companies that can come and go. I mean, unfortunately, gold and silver is still an unregulated market. We're owned by a publicly traded company, so the laws and protections of having that are afforded to Goldline's clients. But other than that, unfortunately, it's a very slimy industry out there. I know Glenn has talked about it, Glenn Beck, and he says it's like the wild, wild west, and that's why he picked us way back 20 years ago. So yeah, you want to be very, very careful who you do business with. There are no laws that protect people. Companies get shut down for cheating people out of money, and they just close down and open a new business with a new name and a new website and hire some spokesperson to say, this is the only company I buy from. And they've been with them for 4 months. I mean, when Glenn says that about Goldline, he's been with us 20 years.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
No, it's a huge, huge difference. Again, number 800-319-9533. And again, everybody out there, things are crazy. I know it's easy to procrastinate financially, but I think that the events of the last few days illustrate to you why there is a sense of urgency, in terms of taking care of your financial future and your legacy and your wealth. You want to have that hedge. You want to have some portion of it in a form factor you can control. So if you are a gold virgin or a born again virgin, we want you to lose your virginity. Think about it. Talk to your advisor. And if you're comfortable, folks at Goldline can help you out. And hopefully you found this video informative. Sherrill, thank you so much for your time today and all you're doing to help people. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, Carol. And thank you for all you do and your great books that keep people informed and educated in how to protect themselves and what's going on. It's really amazing.
All right. Well, more to come, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.